Sometimes in life we're faced with very difficult situations. We feel victimized by the circumstances of life. We feel like our back is up against the wall and there is no way out of the situation. But what we don't realize is that we can actually use this situation to propel us into a quantum leap on the path of spiritual awakening. I remember back in 2006, 2007, I was in real estate. I was a realtor. I had invested in real estate. I had clients buying and selling in real estate. And when we went through the financial meltdown, it greatly affected the real estate market, as you have now a lot of people filing up for foreclosure. The market took a nosedive. Prices were falling faster than you could think. So the properties that I bought was losing value on a monthly basis. And my ability to provide enough funds to cover my bills began to become challenged. And back in those days, I had a real bad habit of entertaining worst case scenario movies in my head. And I was actually a master at that. But the movies just kept on getting worse and worse. And the worse they got, the more anxious I became. I remember one time the movie got so bad that I thought, if I cannot pay my bills, then I'm going to have to open foreclosure myself. And I had 5 pets. Where would I go with 5 pets? And you're probably thinking, what is Angela doing with 5 pets? That's crazy. I agree with you, but that's another story. But I had the vision of me putting my pets in the car and having to take them to the Humane Society because I could not take them with me. And just the thought of it, I saw myself in the car. I saw them in the car with me. We got there and I have to just surrender them. And that broke my heart. For those of you who have pets, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's very hard because you become lovingly attached to them, and just to let them go like that, it just breaks your heart. And I decided, I cannot allow that to happen. I have to do something about it. And I began to pray, and I began to ask for help, and I began to ask for inspiration. And I remember saying to God, all I want is a solid rock with which I can stand. And the answer that I got was that the solid rock that I was looking for outside of myself, I need to first build it up within myself. So when I look within myself, I realized that there was no solid rock there for me to stand, and that the time has come for me to double down on my spiritual practices and begin to build that inner strength, that solid foundation within me. That's when I decided to become very disciplined with the study of spiritual literature. So I started reading about 3 to 4 hours a day. I will get up in the morning, I will read an hour and a half before work. Once I finished done whatever work I had to do for the day, I would sit down and read for a couple of more hours. And I was introduced to the teachings of Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I dove into the teachings of Joe Goldsmith, Neil Donald Walsh, the books of Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. Actually, that's when I learned that Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, was also a realtor who experienced a market crash in which he lost everything, was about to lose his house, pretty much like me. But he had such a faith that he was going to move through this untouched by it, that it really inspired me to continue on the path and learn all the spiritual laws behind what's going on, so that I can bring some measure of understanding and growth into the experience. And what the practice did, not only it took my mind off of my worst case scenario movies, because now I was flooded with information that would give me hope, inspiration, perhaps even some guidance. And I was able to eventually be nudged into opening up a new business, which turned out to be very successful. Fast forward to 2020, with the pandemic hitting, once again, I was in real estate and it became greatly affected, especially when we had to shut down the state and nobody could get out of the house. My clients canceled everything. And I was once again facing with the dilemma of how am I going to cover my bills with this craziness going on. And I felt once again victimized by the circumstances of life. And that's when I began to become disciplined into the practices of meditation. You know, I have been postponing the regular practice of it for a long, long time. But once again, when my back was up against the wall, I decided that I was going to start meditating on a daily basis, no matter what. And what the practice of meditation did to me, it helped me begin to embody everything that I have learned intellectually. And most importantly, it began to teach me how to create a separation between me, the observer, and the thoughts that keep presenting themselves to me. So now I can make a better choice whether a scary movie, you know, in my own head introduce itself to me or something that bring me concern or anything like that. Because of the regular practice of meditation, I can disidentify myself with the thought and be more selective, you know. I can see the thought as something just being presented itself to me, and I am much better able now to determine whether I'm going to embrace the thought and spend hours a day thinking about it, or if I'm just going to dismiss and think about something else instead, think about something to be grateful. So if you're facing a trial, tribulation, or some difficulty in your life, my recommendation is double down on your spiritual practice. Try to bring a spiritual solution into your problem. Use this situation as a springboard to a quantum leap in your evolution. Don't do like me, being entertaining worst case scenario movies in your head. Be selective with what you think and see how life begins to change for you. Thanks for watching. Namaste.